I'm going to start with a picture of Charles Fillmore. Yep, that's him in his famous chair. And Rosemary Fillmore, granddaughter of Charles Fillmore, used to say that she would always go to Grandma and Grandpa's house and play, and her friends would come over, and they would say, "Why is your grandpa sitting in that rocking chair? He's sleeping." And she would say, "He's not sleeping. He's going to headquarters." Now, her friends didn't know what that meant, but we know what that means because he's in meditation, and he would call it going to headquarters. Now, I'm going to ask you to consider, to look at these words, and I'd like us to take it into meditation. It says, here is a mental treatment guaranteed to cure every ill that flesh is heir to. Here is a mental treatment guaranteed to cure every ill that flesh is heir to. Here's the treatment. Sit for a half an hour every night and mentally forgive everyone against whom you have had any ill will or antipathy. Ooh. Am I the only one that's like, ooh, 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 half an hour? I'm just asking for just 5 minutes here today to do a mental mind treatment in meditation. So I'm asking you to just put any papers or whatever you have in your hands, set it aside, because that's one more distraction that ego loves to do during this time. Loves to get you thinking about what we're doing after church, what happened this morning on the way here. This is time to let it go. This is your time to go to headquarters, to go to that upper room as Jesus called it. This is the secret inner knowing place within each and every one of us. So I want you to just take a nice, easy breath in. And then with the exhale, letting go. With this next breath in, I want you to breathe in the words of the daily word. The what? Appreciation. Breathe in all that you appreciate about today. And if you can't think of anything, just look out those windows and see the beautiful day in front of us. Exhale, gently breathing back in appreciation for life. And with the exhale, letting go of anything that is trying to come in and distract you. Just send it to its room. Build a room above your head and say thank you for sharing. Go to your room. I'll get back to you at 12:15. There's nothing any of us need to do right now, but just be. So as we move into this suggestion of a mental mind treatment, may we know that we are safe right here in this space, whether we are in this room or on Facebook or YouTube. You are safe right now. All is well. We are moving into a path of forgiveness. So I invite you, knowing that you are in a safe place, to just consider bringing into your mind's eye and into your heart center those who could use a little bit of forgiveness from you. These can be people and situations that are actually going on in your life right now. It can also be people and situations that maybe are no longer taking place or they've transitioned on, but there's still a little bit of angst in your crawl about wanting to relive the story or relive what they did. And it's affecting our frequency. It's affecting our energy flow. And that's what Fillmore was talking about. This is a way to help us be healthy physically and emotionally, mentally and spiritually through the path of forgiveness. So I want you to just take a few moments to bring those people and those situations, past or present, into your heart center. And remember that forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean you have to, become best friends or buddies or talk to them on the phone. No. Doesn't mean forgetting. It means letting go of the power that we've given them over our peace. So in the silence of your mind and heart, just imagine putting a white light around them or these situations. And if you need help with that light, just imagine a white light coming down from Father, Mother, Sky. White light coming down and surrounding them or surrounding that situation with protection and forgiveness. One of the greatest words Jesus said on the cross was, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Just keep sending white light. As ego wants to keep saying, yeah, but. Just keep sending white light. And now I want to ask you to just take an easy breath in. And with the exhale, I want you to bring to your mind's eye yourself. Is there any forgiveness that's needed for you to give to yourself? So many times we get hung up on guilt, shame, blaming ourselves. This also diminishes our light and our frequency. So maybe we can send some white light down to ourselves and to our heart center. I forgive myself. I've done the best I could do with what I was dealing with. I choose each day to be better and better and better. I let it go. I let it all go. And I take an easy breath in, feeling my frequency increasing, bringing my body and my mind to better health. Allowing myself to feel the release and the weight. I appreciate this time of a mental treatment to increase my healthy cells and to knock out those radical cells. As I take a nice, easy breath in, bringing my awareness back to this space, to this room. If your eyes were closed, gently open them, knowing that you are like a flower blooming and opening. As we get to hear another beautiful song by Angie and Yvette.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger and endless aching need. But I say love, it is a flower, yeah, you, its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learned to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never learns to dance. It's the one who won't be taken, that can not seem to give, and and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night it gets too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies a seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Ooh, good song. Good song. Okay, take a breath. I'm going to change gears for a minute. A woman brought a very limp duck into a veterinary surgeon. The vet listened to the bird's chest and sadly said, "I'm so sorry, your duck Cuddles has passed away." The woman protested. She said, "Are you sure? You haven't done any tests. Maybe it's a coma or something." The vet rolled his eyes and left the room and returned with a black Labrador retriever. The dog stood on its hind legs, sniffed the duck from head to toe, shook his head sadly, and left. Next, the vet brought in a cat. The cat jumped on the table, sniffed the bird carefully, shook its head, and meowed softly, and then left the room. The vet looked at the woman and said, "I'm sorry, but as I said, this is most definitely a dead duck, 100% certifiably." He then printed off a bill and handed it to the woman. Still in shock, she cried, $250 to tell me that my duck is dead? The vet shrugged. He said, "If you had taken my word for it, the bill would have only been $50. But with the lab report and the CAT scan, it's now $250. Oh boy. Comedy Central, look out, here I come. The power and the gift of understanding. I want to ask you two questions. How often have you longed to truly be understood? My whole life, someone said. How often have you longed to be truly understood? I think we've all dealt with that. And we may be still dealing with it if we're in relationships with anybody, right? Second question, can you think of a time when you struggled to understand someone? Mm-hmm. Over and over and over. Our news this week needs our prayers, doesn't it? So many issues that need our prayers and trying to understand, right? Understanding is one of the 12 powers. It is a spiritual power. It's one of the 12 powers that Charles Fillmore developed and wrote about. 12 innate powers of the Christ within us. I think I'm talking to the right audience. Do you believe that the Christ presence is within you? Most of you, I would hope all of you, have that knowing that the Christ is within you. And because that Christ is within you, you are innately endowed with these 12 spiritual powers. And the one that I'm talking about today is the power of understanding. And it is not just a power, it is a gift when you develop the power of understanding. It is a power of the soul and a gift that we give and receive in relationships. We give understanding and we receive understanding. Isn't that the hopes of a perfect world? But if we can just do this on small levels within our own circle of influence, we're going to change not only our immediate circle of world, but we're going to change our relationships. Excuse me. I'm going to show you a video, but before we hit play on it, who has seen the movie Inside Out? Oh, good. Most of you. Those of you who have not, I've seen it 3 times. I loved it so much. It is. And there's an Inside Out 2 as well. But this is a Pixar movie that deals with all the emotions that we all deal with. It is not just a kids movie. It is really for adults because you watch it, you will get the meaning. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to ask you to go find what platform it is on your TV and watch this movie. But those of you who have seen it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There's this little girl named Riley, and she has her mom or dad, they all have all these emotions. But Riley has an imaginary friend, and his name is Bing Bong. And through Riley's imagination, she and Bing Bong go on all kinds of adventures. Anybody remember having your favorite stuffed animal as a kid? And you could just let your imagination go wild with this stuffed animal. Well, that's this situation with Riley. But Riley is now getting up in years to where she's moving to almost being a teenager and no longer needs Bing Bong so much. And so this is a scene, a clip out of the movie where Bing Bong is realizing that Riley's kind of moving on without him. And so in this metaphysical part of the movie, there is a bulldozer that is taking all of the memories of Riley and Bing Bong in those younger years and taking it to the mind dump, memory dump. And Bing Bong is losing it. So if we can show that movie, that clip. That's Bing Bong.
No, you can't take my rocket to the dump. Riley and I are going to the moon.
Riley and I were going to go to the moon.
Riley can't be done with me.
Can we turn the volume?
Hey, it's going to be okay. We can fix this.
This
We
is
just need to
joy.
get back to headquarters. Which way to the train station?
I had a whole trip planned for us.
Hey, who's ticklish, huh? Here comes the tickle monster. Hey, Bing Bong, look at this. Oh, here's a fun game. You point to the train station and we all go there. Won't that be
Joy
fun?
is trying
Come on,
to
let's
move
go
him
the train
back to
station.
joy. This is sadness
I'm
about
sorry they
Throat
took
Roach.
your rocket. They took something that you loved. It's gone forever.
Sadness. Don't make him feel worse.
Sorry.
It's all I had left of Riley.
I bet you and Riley had great adventures.
Oh, they were wonderful. Once we flew back in time. We had breakfast twice that day.
Sadness.
It sounds amazing. I bet Riley liked it.
Oh, she did. We were best friends.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm okay now. Come on. The train station is this way.
Do you see where the giving of understanding from sadness, from allowing her friend, Bing Bong, to just have his feelings? Now, I've been Joy at many times prior to coming into learning unity. I couldn't stand if people were sad. So remember, I owned a restaurant, right? Well, let me get you another cup of coffee. Would you like a piece of pie on me? Right? Think about how have you done this in your own life with people, friends. I was well-meaning. One of my love languages is I want to be helpful. I want to always be helpful. And in being helpful, like Joy, it falls on deaf ears at times. Sometimes it actually gets on people's nerves, right? Like Joy was getting on my nerves in that scene. And what did sadness do? Just sat with her friend and moved to a level of understanding. Must be hard. It must be hard. Let's go to that next slide, please. We think we listen. You might want to get a picture of this. You might want to get a picture of some of these slides today. We think we listen, but very rarely do we listen with real understanding, true empathy. Yet listening of this very special kind is one of the most potent forces for change that I know. Now, in my own life, I can tell you that I deal with this almost on a daily basis. Witnessing people not quite listening because there's not a level of understanding. Now, we had a picnic last week, right? And there's key people that were in charge to make sure that that picnic got set up and everything ran as smooth as possible, and that we didn't wear out volunteers, and then cleanup comes, right? And so when you are in charge of something like that, sometimes you're not very friendly. I know, in a unity church, we're human beings, right? And we're under some stress. And I'm saying this same thing goes for me. Look at your own life. Look at people around you. When we had the rummage sales, for those of you who remember those days, and all the work it took to get those together, and the person in charge was not always nice. Matter of fact, kind of gruff. And when this happens, and it happens in your life, and I don't know how often, it depends on how much you're interacting with the world out there. But when you interact with the world out there, you're going to come across with people who are a little gruff or extremely gruff. And what is that a call for? People, what is that a call for? Understanding. You don't know what they are going through. Is that not true? Yes. We don't. You know, sometimes we have to start with recognizing our first reaction. When someone gets upset, our instinct often, maybe it's just me, but to defend myself, judge it, or withdraw. Go into my little protective bubble, right? And withdraw. There's a story about a man who noticed his neighbor's lawn. It was a new neighbor. And he noticed his neighbor's lawn is overgrown and it's full of weeds. And every time he drives by, he thinks, that guy is so lazy. He doesn't care about our neighborhood, apparently. He even found himself muttering under his breath and judging the neighbor without ever speaking to him. One Saturday morning, after nearly weeks of frustration, this man decides that he is going to lecture him, but knocks on the door, and the man opens the door, and he sees the man, and he looks so wore out, this man that opened the door. He looked exhausted. He said to the neighbor who was about to give him the what for, I'm so sorry about my yard. My wife has been in the hospital for treatments, and I'm caring for her, and I'm also caring for our children, and I haven't had time to take care of the yard. In an instant, that man's judgment melted. His first reaction had been to criticize and defend his idea of what's right. But once he took a step to connect, he saw the real story. He moved to understanding. The man who was out to give the lazy neighbor the what for now offered to mow his grass the very next day. That's just like sadness and joy. Joy was trying to change that situation. Sadness realized what he was going through and sat with him. Can you think of some situations in your own life? I notice a lot of people nodding their heads where you've had a judgment about someone or something, and then once you got to know them a little bit, you started realizing, oh, that's why. Oh, that's why they didn't look at me. I mean, I've had people get upset because they went through the lobby and so didn't acknowledge them, didn't even say hello. And I've said, do you realize that their brother just had a diagnosis? Well, no. See how quick we judge? And it's not about knowing the story. Oh, yeah. Is this a good time for this? Yes, this is a perfect time. This is a short reel from Matt Boggs, Mary Morrissey's son. And let's just let it play, and then we'll talk about it. If we can make sure the volume's
Often
up.
we think people could do better than they're doing. We think people could give us more than they're giving. I love this particular analogy. Imagine that often we think someone is only giving us 6 ounces of honesty, for example. But we think we have a glass that can hold 16 ounces. So they're holding out on us. What if their glass is only 6 ounces and they're giving us everything they can? That's this principle, is to recognize they're giving us exactly what their level of awareness at the time can give us. So the spiritual practice here is to recognize that if indeed you did know their whole story, you would feel compassion. Could you feel compassion in the absence of knowing their story?
Bingo. Could you feel compassion in the absence of knowing their story? Could you feel compassion without knowing their story? That is a hard challenge. And I'm going to take it to the news media because that's the most obvious of where we've got to do some work as light workers. As light workers, and we know the power of compassion. But it's not easy. But we don't know people's story. We don't know what people are going through. We don't know why there is this acting out of hatred. We don't know where they've come from and what they've been through, what their childhood was like. So how do we show and stay compassionate beings? I wish I had the $1 million answer to that. My answer would be what Unity would say. Practice, practice, practice. And practice some more. Just keep practicing understanding and compassion. You know, I think about that. Do you get that concept of what he was saying? Of coming with I assume that everybody's got a full glass, right, of understanding. But an awful lot of people only have 6 ounces, and that's all that they could give. The man who didn't mow his grass, he only had 6 ounces to give. And that 6 ounces was his wife and his children. But the neighbor that was judging him came to him with a 16-ounce glass and figured out, why can't you do 16 ounces worth? Because he only had 6 ounces. Does that make sense? So we don't know who's in front of us that maybe that's all they can give. And that's where the compassion comes in. You know, I think about, I always like to, because to me, Jesus is one of my master teachers and way showers. There are many teachers out there, many master teachers, but Jesus is like my go-to person. I always think about, what did Jesus say about this? What did Jesus do about this? The disciples, they were always judging him. They were always questioning him. They were arguing over who was the greatest. They fell asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane. They even doubted after the resurrection, they doubted him. And rather than giving up on them, Jesus kept teaching and encouraging and patiently helping them to grow. We did a Teachers Appreciation Day here. Teachers, you know what I'm talking about. This is what you do with your students and what you have done with your students. Yvette, you're teaching kids music lessons. You got to have a lot of understanding, don't you, of didn't you practice this week? I know I was one of those kids. I hope they won't notice. Right? Oh, gosh. Understanding looks like patience, guidance, and seeing the potential in others even when they stumble or they just can't see it because they're unconscious because they're dealing with so much. So moving to understanding, when we pause before reacting, listen to this. Oh, here's a step to do. When we pause before reacting, we are activating the power of understanding, moving from ego judgment to a Christ vision. I'm going to say that again. I should have wrote that down and put it on a slide. Understanding looks like patience, guidance, and seeing the potential in others even when they stumble or they don't see it. When we pause, this is the pause and pray, isn't it? That we talk about. When we pause before reacting, we're activating the power of understanding, moving from ego judgment to Christ's vision. And isn't that the single lens that we are supposed to be looking at life? not these two physical eyes, but the single eye is the Christ vision. As we grow spiritually, we can say, I see beyond appearances. I choose understanding, grace, and love. Dalai Lama says another great thing here. When you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. There was a woman, she was rushing through the grocery store and after work, and you could clearly see that this woman was in a hurry. And at the checkout line, the checkout cashier was moving slowly, and when the cashier dropped a bag of apples, the woman snapped, "Can't you do anything right?" And the air grew tense in the line, and you could almost feel everyone like bristling. But the man standing behind the woman who was yelling, he said, "It looks like you've apparently had a tough day. I hope it gets better." His words softened in the moment, and the woman froze, her eyes filled with tears, and she whispered to him, "I just came from the hospital and my mother is very sick." Suddenly, the whole story changed. What seemed like rudeness was really grief and fear spilling over. What looked like anger was actually pain. Just like Bing Bong, and just like the angry or the lazy neighbor. I chose a quote from Jane Goodall in honor of her this week. Only if we understand can we care. Only if we care, we will help. Only if we help, we shall be saved. Take a picture of that somebody and post it to our Facebook page or your Facebook page. Only if we understand can we care. If you do nothing but pay attention to that first line, only if we understand can we care, because we truly don't care if we don't move to the level of understanding. If we aren't really practicing what we talk about here in unity. I'm going to leave you with this is a very positive message. Now, it's hard to read there. So if you've got your camera and blow it up, you may be able to get it. If not, we can get it printed off for you. Message for the awakened ones. Do you believe that you are awakening? Oh, that's scary. I counted maybe 4 yeses. Do you believe that you are awakening, or what the heck are you doing here? I don't know what you're doing here. Do you just come for the food downstairs? Because, trust me, that's going to be really good today. Or you came to hear Angie and Yvette? Do you believe that you are awakening? If you don't, how are we going to change this world? If you don't start with yourselves and working to awaken more and more and more, if you don't read material instead of the daggone news and scrolling Facebook that has negative Nellies on it, you're not going to move to awakening. You're going to go more sleep. You're going to believe in this dream world. I'm telling you, it's critical what you feed your mind. I could go on this one. We must listen to this, beloved family of light. I'm going to read it to you. In this time of uncertainty and division, remember, the greatest revolution is not of nations, but of hearts. Every act of kindness, every breath of forgiveness, every choice to see the divine in another, these are the seeds of the new earth. Yes. Do not be discouraged by the shadows you see in the world. Shadows only prove the light is near. Hold steady, stay rooted in love, radiate truth. Together, we are bridging between what was and what shall be. Whoo! Whoo! This is a message to you awakening ones. Take this to heart and let's say our affirmation. Let's say it together. Rooted in spirit, I open my mind and heart to the power and gift of understanding. I see with clarity, listen with compassion, and walk in wisdom. Inside your bulletin is that affirmation. Take it home, cut it out, and tape this somewhere. You'll see it every day this week. Affirm this. We need you to be light workers and to be game changers. So with that, I say to my awakening family, namaste, that the awakening Christ presence in me truly sees the awakening Christ's presence in each and every one of you. Namaste.